Good day, boys and girls. So today we're looking at naming angles. If I have a point drawn, and if I label it B, and draw two rays from this point, I'll call this A and this C. So I have BA, ray BA, and ray BC. Do you notice that they joined from the same point? This point we know is the vertex. It's called the vertex. In this case, we have BA, the ray, and we call it an arm. BC is also an arm. Now, looking at that diagram, what do you notice between those two rays? An angle is formed. Now, we can label that angle in three different ways. So today, you always label it according to the vertex of those two arms. And in this case, look at where it is. It lies there where point B is. So we can either call it, because there's just one angle formed, we can call it angle B, or remember, my vertex angle must be in the middle, and I can use any of the other letters, A, C, or a third way of labeling it could be CBA. Right, so we've covered the names when one angle is formed. What happens if I have quite a few? There's my vertex. I have three rays now. This is B, A, C, and D. This angle, I can label it as B1 and B2. So I could call this angle that I'm talking about either B1, angle B1, or, now let's look, I can't just call it B because there's two angles there. So I need to then call it ABD, or it can be called DBA. So any of those, angle B1, angle ABD, or DBA can be this angle. What about this B2? Let's look at it. I can call it B2, angle B2, or I can call it DBC, or I can call it CBD. I'm sure you knew that already. Girls and boys, there are different types of angles that we're going to look at today. Angles that are, let's see, draw a ray, and if I have an angle that is formed between those two rays, but look what happens. This would be my 90-degree angle, and this would be 0 degrees. Now look, what do you think? This angle is greater than 0 degrees, but it's smaller than 90 degrees. And so it's such a cutie pie that we call it an acute angle. Whereas when we have angles, an angle that is formed and is 90 degrees, that square represents 90 degrees, we call this a right angle. Well, we're not done with all angles right now, but let's look at another type of angle. If I have a line drawn, well, actually it's called a ray, and this would be where my 90-degree angle would be, okay? But this is my vertex, and a ray is drawn. This ray, look where it's the position of that ray. So an angle is formed between these two rays. Now look at what I'm saying to you today. This would normally be 180 degrees. This starting point is 0. So 0, 90 degrees. And look where this ray is. The position of that ray is greater than 90 but less than 180. That angle there is greater than 90 degrees, but it's smaller than 180, and we call this an obtuse angle. Does that make sense, everybody? Are you clear with what we're doing? All right, let's move on. I'm just turning over my paper so I don't waste. And here we go. Let's look at the next type of angle. If I have my vertex drawn and I have a ray, two rays actually, this would be 0 degrees. On my left hand side is 180. The angle that is formed, in this case, on the straight line is known as a straight angle. That's easy enough. Do you agree? So a straight angle is equal to 180 degrees. In this case of a reflex angle is formed when we have two rays, right? That I'm just showing you where 180 would be represented on the protractor. And if I draw anywhere along here and I form an angle. So look at what's happening here. This is 0 degrees. An angle that is greater than 180. And if I come right back here, it forms 360, all right? But in this case, I have an angle. There's 180 here. It's greater than 180, but it's less than the 360 degrees. And we call this a reflex angle. So this reflex angle could lie anywhere. It could even be in this position, closer to the 360 degrees. And this whole angle here would also be known as a reflex angle. Okay, so reflex angles lie anywhere below the 180 and the 360 degree angles. Oh, lost. I'm sure by now you're wondering what comes next. Well, let me tell you. We have, again, a ray drawn with a vertex. And what do we notice? That this angle is formed, goes all the way around and returns from 0 degrees. It made a whole revolution, measures 360 degrees. This type of angle is known as a revolution angle. We have now covered all the different types of angles. And so I hope this made sense to you.